Why?
Because
Why
are fucking evil.
are the
the worst.
Wait, I'm not giving people that clip.
Oh, are we recording?
Always.
Oh. None of this is going to be used though, right?
Welcome to Blackmail.
Oh, God.
Blackmail the show.
Hey, welcome to this week's A Conversation with Podcast. We get a new one every Wednesday other than last week's hiatus. And today's guest is Mia Khalifa, who's actually a person that we've covered a number of times on the show. And if you're unfamiliar, Mia Khalifa is a massively popular internet personality, model. She has hosted a number of sports shows. I also started reaching out to her a little while back because I was interested in covering kind of how people have used her past in the adult entertainment industry against what she's trying to do now. And also just to kind of get to know someone that I've seen from a distance that, you know, we've had limited interactions, but what is this person like one-on-one? And so with that said, thanks for following, subscribing, all the good stuff, and enjoy.
Hey, welcome to A Conversation with. My name is Philip DeFranco, and today we're having a conversation with Mia Khalifa. Hello.
Hi.
This is a long time. How long ago were we talking about doing this?
I mean, we have been like internet friends for a few, like we interact on the internet for a few years. And
Sure.
I have said, oh, next time I'm in LA, we should do a video together or a podcast together. But we have been trying to schedule this for like, I think since like July.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe before then.
I think we're just both bad Twitter and
we're both terrible at replying.
communicators. Yeah.
My manager yelled at me every time he'd be like, has he responded? And I don't know. I haven't checked. Well, then go check. And I'd go to check and I'm like, yeah, he responded 4 weeks ago.
Do I even respond at that point? Or
Exactly.
should I just, yeah, it's this very strange thing. But you've kind of popped up because you've been doing podcasts, talking more. And I kind of guess before we jump into that, I'll probably have introduced you already, but in your own words, who are you? What do you do for people that are unfamiliar?
Okay. My name is Mia Khalifa. That's my camera?
Any camera.
Okay.
We're going to use all of them. 3 right now. Perfect.
My name is Mia Khalifa. I am a huge sports fan. I love to eat, and somehow I have found a way to turn that into a career.
How long have you been into sports?
I've been into sports since I was like 12, since I first moved to America and started picking up English, more proficiently since I was like 12 years old.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we settled in DC, so I'm a DC sports fan.
I like just the pain that's in your voice, but you stuck with it. Like my teams have lost so consistently in the sports that I care about that I'm ready to be a Rams fan. I'm like, maybe.
God. Who's your hockey team?
Well, it used to be the Rangers back in the Messier days, but that's the thing is I used to be all New York sports, right? I really cared about it for basketball, Ewing, Starks. I was like, yes, this is my shit. And then I just stopped caring for 15 years. It was also very easy in New York to be like, I'm a sports fan with the Yankees, right? It was like, I think I started watching.
Yeah, you're spoiled as a sports fan.
I started watching baseball when Jeter was a rookie.
Oh my
So I was like, I get to experience
you're
the glory
old.
years. Oh yeah, I'm 33.
Oh.
You're the only person that's surprised by that. Usually I come in and people are like,
I thought you were like my age.
no. Oh, Jesus. You got to just fucking do that to me. It's just, I'm gonna die in 3 years.
Yeah, dude.
Oh no. You know
Life
what?
expectancy is like,
Yeah, not for me.
No.
I haven't been taking care of myself. It's it's bad. It's gonna be one of those things where I actually die in the next 3 years, and they're gonna be like, Philip DeFranco knew. I need to just do
Mia
that all the
Khalifa
time.
killed Philip DeFranco.
You wanted to keep me on schedule. I appreciate that. For everything that we're gonna cover a lot.
Yes.
Right. I have you here for 7 hours. I appreciate you.
I
doing
did a
that.
7-hour podcast yesterday, so
What?
Just kidding. News.
Really? Oh yeah, they filmed for a while.
Oh my
Did you do it
God.
with Steve Green? And,
Yeah, it was with Steve and Tiffany and Gio and her husband.
Steve's, I think, probably my favorite funny person
He's
in the world.
hilarious.
Yeah, he doesn't get
He's
enough credit for it.
also unassuming off camera.
Mhm.
Like his on camera personality is just like, where did that come from?
I enjoy him because he's agreeable to the point of you find yourself in this weird place that you never thought, and then he grills you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, he was great.
I
That was
appreciate
really
it.
fun. But subscribe to this channel instead.
This
Yeah.
is the only one.
Yeah.
Fuck JK News. No, not really. Mia Khalifa says fuck JK News. I
God.
tried to stop her. I'm not going to play the clip before this. So we're going to cover a lot, right? Because you've lived a very interesting life. Starting with your childhood. It always sounds like I'm doing a therapy session. But when did you come to the United States?
In 2001.
2001, and I think I saw that you came 2 weeks before 9/11.
No, I came January.
Okay.
Like 5th or something.
So
2001.
you had a few months before
Yeah,
things
but it
got
was
ugly.
I didn't go to school until the fall started because I couldn't but so it was like 2 weeks into my first time ever being around kids my age in America
Sure.
and being in an American school
And
in DC.
And where were you originally from?
Lebanon, Beirut.
Lebanon. And you moved when you were how old?
8 or 9.
8 or 9? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. So do you have any kind of, so when you think of home, do you think specifically Washington or no?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird box that I'm in because Lebanese don't think I'm Lebanese. They think I'm American. And Americans don't think I'm American because I don't look American and I speak Arabic. And I'm just in this like limbo of I don't know where I'm from. And also I never know what to answer when people ask me, oh, where'd you move here from? Do I say Austin, Texas? Do I say Washington, D.C.? Do I say Lebanon?
That's just going to get more complicated as you get older. Because I don't know. I'm like, I was born in New York, but then I moved to North Carolina and then Florida and then back to North Carolina.
North Carolina?
My mom wanted to move there. Be close to my grandparents while they were still around.
Where in North Carolina?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
So it was kind of like
beautiful there.
Yeah. It's like, it's very weird. It's like there's either like nothing and then kind of a bunch of hippies.
Yeah.
And then a college town.
Well, these days it's like the destination spot for weddings.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, like the Biltmore House and stuff like that?
Yeah,
or
places like that. Like a lot of my friends I've just seen get married in North Carolina, even though they have no ties to North Carolina.
Huh. That's really interesting.
Yeah. They have a huge craft beer, not underground like society there.
But that's the thing is I'm completely ignorant to what it is now because I'm like, I'm never going back. One, because the airport at Asheville, North Carolina, it's like very small. So I have to get on a very small plane. And I've gotten past my fear of flying, except small planes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love small planes.
No. Well, when you say
board faster, you get off faster. I love tiny airports.
No. It's just, I need the airplane to be very large to the point that I'm like, this will be on the news. Because like a little 6-seater, no one's going to talk about that at all.
People still talk about Kennedy dying in a little 6-seater.
Who are you talking to? You're the first person to mention Kennedy to me for like 9 years, other than like an
I
inappropriate
think about that every
TikTok.
day.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm obsessed with the Kennedys.
Well, you're like really into history, right?
Yeah, but especially the Kennedy family. Like that whole Kennedy curse is extremely interesting to me.
Okay, so it's kind of the idea of it there being something darker,
I
or
love
just
it. Yeah.
Is that your like favorite thing in history?
No, not so. Well, I'm not gonna get World War II.
Huge fan, Mia Khalifa. Huge fan of World War II. Thank you for just giving me the title I need. This is all I need. No.
Oh my god.
No. So okay. So you move here. I know that you said that it was really uncomfortable. It kind of speaks to what you were saying of like people didn't say that you were American.
And I was learning English at the time, so I had a thick Lebanese accent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like not just, visibly foreign. When I spoke, it was just like, Jesus Christ, someone check her credentials. How did she get here?
Right. But then after or in high school, you end up going to a military boarding school? How?
But it's not as dramatic as it sounds.
Okay.
It was like 2 hours away from home. So it was just private school that you slept at and went home on the weekends.
Okay, so you still went home.
Yeah, well, it got to the point where after I started making friends there, I didn't go home because I wanted to hang out with my friends who were at the school from California or Washington and different states who didn't get the chance to go home, or I would bring them home with me.
Sure.
But I loved it there so much that I wanted to spend weekends there.
Right, and because that was one of the things that stuck out while I was kind of looking up past interviews is you said you felt like a greater sense of belonging there than at home.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was?
Because everybody was leveled. Everyone was the same. Aside from being given rank and different responsibilities, everybody kind of worked together for the same goal pretty much. Like we all wanted to, not if one person got in trouble, everybody on the floor that we lived at in the dorm got in trouble. So if one person's room wasn't tidy or if one person didn't get their tasks done, everybody would work together to help them so that we could all succeed.
Would you feel like that was the first time you felt like a group atmosphere or a sense of belonging?
Absolutely. I never had. I mean, I went to public school for like I would say 3/4 of a school year.
Okay.
And I didn't have a group. Like I had people I talked to in class. I had one girlfriend who was 2 grades above me, who I'm still very close friends with. Lindsay Ray, I love you. She's still one of my best friends, and she was one of the only people who looked at me and didn't just see an outsider. She valued me for my personality and my sense of humor and all of these attributes that I had never no one ever gave me the chance to show them.
Was there a reason that you ended up going to boarding school? Because
public school.
I've heard friends do it, and I'm just like, why? What happened?
It was more so for not for, I wasn't being reprimanded and I wasn't in trouble or anything. It was just one of the best schools in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
Okay.
It was a sister school to West Point, and at the time, I had aspirations of going to the Citadel and continuing on with the military.
Really? Was anything that drew you to that?
The sense of belonging. Like I saw all of those commercials, and I had family members who went to West Point and then made the military like a lifelong career. So I kind of just, I liked the idea of having a predisposed group of people who I could belong with.
Was there any reason you didn't end up pursuing that?
Oh yeah, I did not like waking up at 4:30 in the morning. Like that wasn't a fun part of the school. I didn't like having to make my bed every day, even though I'm great at making a bed now. Like there was a lot of aspects where I was like, I don't know if I can do this forever.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting when you're like, I know that I've had this in my head probably for years.
Yeah.
But this one thing, because for me, I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. It's going to be great. And I was in pre-med and I took organic chemistry and I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. This is bad. This is not a good time. This is just not going to work out.
I'm going to start a podcast.
That's what and then I immediately went, podcast. No, I mean, I ended up starting because I got really angry at Rush Limbaugh. He said something a long time ago. I feel like I've mentioned this a few times for people listening. Rush Limbaugh said that Michael J. Fox was faking his condition. And I was like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Hilarious.
I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. And I ranted. And then ever since.
Was that your first viral anything?
Yeah, but then viral back then was like 30,000 views. I was
That's
like,
fair.
this is the big time. This is crazy. Now I think if I got 30,000 views, I'd be like, well, it's over. It's done. Nobody cares anymore.
How are we going to pay the bills?
No, I don't know.
That's when you get your child into child acting.
I'm like, he really wants to do it.
You got to earn your weight around here, kid.
So for you, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me, and I was like, there might be a little bit of a kinship and not so much given what I am now. When you were in high school, from what I understand, you were kind of a bigger person.
Oh, yeah. I weighed 50 pounds more than this.
Than that. And when did you start losing your weight? How did you start losing your weight?
I would say my senior year of high school going into college, and I started losing the weight, honestly, just from an unhealthy lifestyle. I wasn't eating properly. I became... It got to me a lot, like the bullying and the fact that I didn't feel attractive, and I went into I put myself into every class I could, like kickboxing and every workout class you can think of. But at the same time, I wasn't eating properly at all. Like I was eating very, very little. And I dropped all the weight. And ever since then, maintaining has just been about, trying to be as healthy as possible, even though I had 3 McDonald's cheeseburgers for dinner last night. But I mean, now I'm okay with, I know my body, and I know that in the span of 365 days in a year, I fluctuate 30 pounds on and off. Right. And I'm okay with that. Like I put on my winter coat every winter, and that's fine. I love to eat like heavy, warm, like butter, creamy food when the months are colder. And I've stopped beating myself up about that. Like my weight gain it's never going to get to the point where I'm unhealthy, where I have to worry about my blood pressure and diabetes and things like that. But I'm also not going to, be mad at myself for wearing jeans 2 sizes bigger than I did in the summer.
Sure. So, okay. So did you say that change happened at your senior year? Yeah,
close to the end of my senior year.
And so how do people start treating you different, or how are you feeling at that point?
I still, I didn't grow into my confidence until I would say maybe 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It took a long time and a lot of therapy to kind of just accept myself and love myself. But I still was wearing baggy clothes. I wasn't really putting myself out there. I wasn't getting the male attention, not that I ever had, but I still wasn't getting male attention. I didn't start to receive that until I got my breast augmentation when I moved to Miami.
How old were you then?
21.
21.
20 when Yeah, 21.
So you get your breast augmentation. All of a sudden you get this new attention.
Yeah.
What does that feel like? Especially after feeling like you didn't get that before.
Overwhelming. Overwhelming, and I had to... I didn't want to lose it because I didn't know if I would ever get it again. And when I did receive any kind of male attention, I felt like I needed to harness it and, be agreeable and do whatever the guy was asking for, or, you know, whatever the guy wanted, because I didn't want to lose that attention. Or the validation, I should say.
Right. Did you ever have feelings of resentment? I
Towards
asked,
who?
Towards the men now giving you attention. I ask because when I was saying that I felt like, oh, I kind of got the story to a certain degree. So when I was in high school, I was very, very large. And after tons of just life happening and my mom kind of just hitting me emotionally, not physically. Well, that was earlier, but I lost a ton of weight. Right. And
Good
so
for
I went
you.
from,
Congratulations.
well, then I put it all back on through stress over the past 10 years. No, but I was, you know, I was like, I want to say 250, 260. I dropped to like 180, and all of a sudden I start getting attention. And for me, while obviously there was an appreciation and all of a sudden this new self-confidence, I resented kind of all people. I was going to say,
because they were shallow?
Because I knew that I was the same person.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, but also at the same time, you know, I sometimes look back and I'm like, you know what, maybe I wasn't the same person, because I, at this point, was this person that had put in effort.
Yeah.
Right. So it was kind of a showcasing of who I was. So I still have mixed feelings on it, just because I feel like, especially now, even more so than then, we're really superficial. So yeah, but you didn't have that.
No, I have resentment more towards myself for not having the, you know, the wherewithal to like, to love myself and appreciate myself and know that I'm worthy no matter how much I weigh or what I look like. And that whatever attention those men were giving me wasn't going to validate me in any way. Like,
Sure.
it was any happiness and self-love has to come from within. No one can give that to you. And I think that, yes, at our core, we have the same personality and characteristics and, you know, values and all of that. But there's a different level of confidence that you don't notice, but other people do when you feel better about yourself. Whether, it doesn't matter what weight you're at. When you feel good, like, other people can pick up on that. So it might, it's not so much that they're shallow or superficial. It's more that you're putting off something without even meaning to, and that draws people in.
Yeah, 100%. So, but that feeling of understanding yourself more, is that kind of in the realm of the past 3 years of, you know, you going to therapy and talking it out, not so much when you were 21?
No, even in like 2016 when I moved to Austin and I had been out of the industry for almost 2 years at the time, I was definitely not in a great mental space then. I didn't know how to love myself. I still relied on men to give me the happiness that I was supposed to be giving myself, and the nurturing that I was supposed to be giving myself. Like, I relied on men to give me that. Or not men, one specific man. I was in a very unhealthy codependent relationship, codependency on my end, not his, which is, I think, what led to the destruction of the relationship. I mean, it was doomed from the beginning. He was a terrible person, but still.
I like that. It was like, it was all me, but also fuck that.
Fuck you. You know who you are.
Wait, so talking about the industry, because I'm always fascinated with kind of how someone goes from kind of their life to, it's this very, 99% of people are only going to ever see it from the outside.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel, and it's probably to a certain degree a unique story for each individual person. For my understanding, for you, it was just, you were walking down the road one day and someone was like, you got it.
Yeah, they handed me a business card. Very professional looking. He was, you know, dressed like you in a button-down, slacks. He got out of his car. He handed me a business card. He was a marketing executive. So he wasn't just like some sleazy producer. I went in and I toured the studio. Very professional. Like, there was cubicles I would say about like 40 cubicles of people just sitting there working with headphones on with pictures of their families and, you know, decorations all over their walls and stuff. So it's not what most people think of, like they see on the Netflix documentaries where it's like a shady motel room or like some sleazy basement. It was a much more professional show.
Right, because it was a much larger organization than kind of, I think when you talk about the Netflix show, it's
Hot Girls Wanted.
Yes,
yeah,
which I think they've made now several things.
Yeah,
but yeah, well, and that's kind of like a smaller organization, kind of one girl. I don't know. Yeah.
They all live in one house, and you know they have one guy who's just driving them from, you know, gig to gig, and it's, oh God, I think it gives. I think that's one side of the industry, and then another side is extremely professional, where you know they pay taxes and there's.
And that was your experience,
yes,
right? So you go in very professional. What kind of goes through your head after you do kind of the tour and you start thinking of, or what were you thinking of? Like how would this affect my life?
I didn't think about how it would affect my life. I was naive and I thought thousands of girls every month, you know, film themselves or go into the industry and no one knows their name. No one ever hears about them. So I can kind of do this to boost my confidence and no one will ever find out about it. Who's going to be searching for me?
So that's really interesting because I feel like that's somewhat similar to, is it the Real Girls Do Porn lawsuit that's happening? There are allegations that they were told that this is only going to be essentially like physical copies in Australia. And they had the same kind of mindset of like, well, who's going to see that?
Yeah.
Right. I live in, I have no one that follows me. No one's gonna be like, that's her right there. And then it gets uploaded and everyone sees it.
Yeah.
But for your experience kind of from not having been on a set before, what is that like?
A lot more intimate than you would expect. Like it's not like the movies portray it. There's one cameraman. That's it. And then two people.
Okay.
You and whoever you're shooting with. So it's kind of like this where there's lights on you. So you can't really see the rest of the set because it's so bright. So you kind of forget that there's other people there. Also, adrenaline completely takes over. As soon as the lights go on, it's just like a blur.
I could see that. I mean, I've only ever experienced something like that if I've gone on stage.
Yeah.
Right? It's just this thing that I've never experienced before.
It goes by like that and you get off and you're like, you could ask me to, recount what just happened and gun to my head, I could
it's
not
almost
do
like
it.
not blackout, but it's almost like that.
It's just a blur. It feels like it happened in the span of 45 seconds, even though it was 30 minutes.
So you kind of don't think about the larger thing because what happens with you has really never happened before, right? People say like, what do you think would happen? Well, not this. It was the first time something like this happens. You end up doing the now international news hijab scene.
Yes.
What the hell happens after that? Because I know that you've talked about you jokingly before the scene, you're like, you guys are gonna get me killed. Yeah. Right. But you don't you didn't probably really think that. You thought maybe I'll get some messages, right?
Yeah. I just thought there would be backlash. I didn't think that all of the backlash would be directed at me. People were acting like I was the one who came up with the concept and, told everyone, all right, places, get your dick out. Like, no, I'm not in control of that. The actress isn't in control of what the context of the scene is. You do have a say if you're not comfortable with something, but no one will ever listen to you if you say, no, I don't think we should scrap this. How about Schoolgirl? No one's ever done that before.
Right.
So
when's the first time that you knew that it was becoming a much bigger situation?
Right after that scene came out.
Oh, so it was instant.
Yeah. Because until then, no one knew.
Was it like a friend called you? Like I saw you on the news?
So I was actually doing social media. I was their social media manager for the company that I worked for.
Okay.
So I was like on the books on payroll, not just as a porn actress. So I was in the office one day and all of a sudden 2 people come into the room and they're like, this is crazy. You have all of these interview requests. I'm like, what is going on? And I checked my Twitter and it was blowing up, and no pun intended. And everyone was just going crazy about it. Like there was hate, there was curiosity, everyone had an opinion about it. And amidst all that, I started getting death threats from people online who were posing as ISIS or ISIS sympathizers, or I don't even know, but it was really scary. And after that, I kind of like started to shy away a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at that point, my life was kind of ruined. It was turned upside down.
Ruined in what way?
I knew that there was no going back from this. So for like a month and a half, I continued to be in the industry. I think I shot 3 or 4 more films after that.
Sure.
But then I realized like I was never doing this because I enjoy this. I was never doing this because I need or want the money, because the money is shit. It's fucking terrible.
So what was it that, yeah,
Okay.
of course. Not on my channel. No. So what did push you into it?
It was the
attention?
fact that I was getting attention and the validation I was getting, and people on set telling me, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and the attention from these good-looking men who I never in a million years thought would give me the time of day. So I was caught up in the whirlwind of that, completely forgetting about what I was doing for myself and my future.
So do you feel like for you that it was more of these outside forces and it wasn't empowering in any way? Or do you feel like maybe in the moment you felt empowered, but
I think it was a false sense of empowerment.
Okay.
Because now that I know what true empowerment from within feels like, it doesn't come from things like that. It comes from succeeding and reaching a goal that I set for myself, and making my fiance smile, or like things like that are what empower me now. And that's long-lasting empowerment. That's the
Sure.
empowerment that gives you true confidence. Not what I was doing before. What
Right.
I was doing before was, I think, a cry for help. Like I should have done therapy, not porn.
Okay, actually, so that's an interesting question, and you might have already answered this. Do you regret it,
Absolutely.
even given where you are now?
Yes, I would completely trade having a normal life and not giving people the right to see me online naked whenever they want to not be famous. I didn't want to be famous. I actually deleted. Well, I didn't delete it. It got hacked by ISIS sympathizers, and there was propaganda being pushed all over my
Oh, right,
Instagram.
yeah.
So they shut my Instagram down when I had like 2.5 million followers. And I didn't reopen Instagram for about a year until I tried to get normal jobs. I worked as a bookkeeper and I worked as a paralegal. And both of those offices I didn't feel safe in because the men knew who I was. So there was a turning point in 2016 when I realized what I really needed was a fresh start. So I moved to Austin from Miami, and I created an Instagram account from scratch. And I tried very hard to build that up and to somehow monetize this infamy that I had to live with now.
Okay, so at this point, you're like, you know what? It's been a year. I'm going to try and lean into it to some degree. And so how do you lean into it at that point?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't know what to do for money.
Sure.
Moving to Austin by myself. So I started camming, and I did that for 11 months until I was able to get on my feet and get an actual following and something that I could turn into good,
Sure.
I got offered a sports show with one of my childhood heroes.
Oh, is this the one on Complex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't plug them. Just kidding.
Fuck those guys. They let go of Jesus and Marrow.
Oh my God.
I don't know what the fucking deal was. Okay.
Yeah. So as soon as I got that offer, I thought to myself, okay, I do not need to be doing this anymore. I don't need to be exploiting myself, because this can actually be something. I have the opportunity here to do good and do something that I am truly passionate about. And ever since then, I have not gone back to anything of that sort.
Regarding, so the difference between, I guess, being in the adult film industry and camming, when you're doing that, was there a greater sense of I'm in control, or no?
No,
Okay.
no. And let me tell you why.
Sure.
Because the company that I worked for, because I was still doing social media for them, they were just doing anything they could to keep me in the industry.
Oh, I bet.
Just
I
throwing
bet.
numbers at me to try and just keep me in somehow.
Mhm.
So they offered me a deal where they paid me a salary every month to log a certain amount of hours on the campsite, because it was their campsite. So what I would do is literally just mute it, turn it on, and watch Netflix. I was the worst cam girl in fucking history.
Okay.
I was really bad.
You were like, so all
But I got the
streams-
paycheck.
Right. Yeah. I respect that. But of course, yeah.
They started to catch on too. Near the end, when I stopped caring, like it was around like the 8-month mark when I knew that I was getting close to never having to do this again. They were like, we're going to take this away. You need to be doing this and this and that.
Because that's what I was going to ask. I was like, for a company,
Yeah.
right? Especially like, no one had really ever blown up to that degree.
Oh, no.
Right? It's like especially
they called me lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially for when you were talking about, I know that like a bunch of the headlines were like, Mia Khalifa says she only got $12,000, right? Which essentially equates to like
Before
a day
taxes.
Before taxes. Put that in the headline. But at that point, you're like the best paying off like lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Right. So did it ever get, I don't want to say maybe scary or shady as far as people trying to keep you in, or was it?
Absolutely. No, it
what
was
does that look
completely
like?
shady. It looks like them telling me that, you know, there's no real job out there for me. You know, this is who I am now. Telling me that I will never make the same amount of money as they were offering me, which was fucking nothing for what they wanted. And I knew that. I knew that after I quit. Like, I knew I would never, ever go back to porn. I think that, you know, the camming was my stepping stone into just having earning money in a way that I can take pride in, that I don't feel ashamed in. But yeah, they will do anything to keep you in.
So it's maybe kind of a stupid question because it's still like a hypothetical scenario. Do you feel like you still would say, like, I would, if I could go back and not do it, that would be the case? Because it feels like this journey, right? If you want to call it that, like, it's a nicer word for probably all the stuff that you had to deal with, led you to your now husband, led you to probably these things that you've learned about yourself. Do you feel like that outweighs I mean, I can't even say temporary pain, because I know that.
No, I totally get what you're asking.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, because I do feel a sense of guilt whenever I say I completely regret it, because I wouldn't have met my best friend Jeff. I wouldn't have met my future husband. I wouldn't have the thick skin that I have today. I wouldn't be the person I am. I wouldn't have all of these tools that I use to get through, you know, smaller obstacles in life. Like, anything that happens to me now is put into perspective. Like, okay, it's not that bad. If I can get through that, I can get through this. This isn't a big deal. I also know now that therapy is a human's best friend.
Yeah.
I am never going to stop talking about how great therapy is. Even if you don't feel like you need therapy, it is the most cathartic thing in the world. Like, even now, where I feel like I'm doing great, I love getting to know myself and getting to know where I want to be. So I do feel guilty saying I regret it, because of all of the great things that have come into my life just through that. I
also like, I get it to a certain degree, because I know that based off of other interviews, do you feel like part of what you're preaching now is for kind of young girls that are on the cusp of this to just not do it?
Exactly.
Because it feels like you're very much an outlier here.
Yes.
Right. And so what would you, if you're kind of the outlier, what do you think the normal situation is?
Well, the girls in the industry hate me. They think that I'm ungrateful for the...
Well, probably not all, but...
No, not... Yeah. You're right. Not all. But most of them think that I'm ungrateful for the fame that I have, when I didn't want this. I didn't ask for it. What I'm doing now is trying to make the best out of a scenario, out of a situation that I don't have control over. So what you're seeing now is a product of that, not, you know, a product of my success from, you know, being in the industry for such a short time. That's not what I wanted. What I want is for girls to not feel like they don't have options. If you, and I'm not talking about the girls who are genuinely into it and are doing it for the money. I'm talking about the girls who feel like the shady producer who's sweet talking them is the greatest guy in the world, and he's going to take care of them for the rest of their life. Like, I want girls like that to know that you do not have to do this. There are so many different outlets and options and people to talk to. Don't ruin your life.
Do you feel like that's what it does?
Yeah.
Because even with your level of success, I imagine.
Oh no, my life is still ruined. Like there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about what my future child is going to be put through. Because eventually, like, some parent is going to talk and they're going to overhear, and then my future kid is going to get made fun of in school. And I'm not looking forward to the day where I have to sit them down and tell them what their mother did at 21 years old that, you know, is out there forever.
But I feel like that, especially given where you are now, where I imagine you're also going to go, I feel like that could be, I'm probably going to overuse the word, empowering. I feel like, because when we started talking about possibly doing this podcast, which I think was actually, so it was before the other.
Yeah, I still wasn't too comfortable talking about this.
And because part of my thing was, hey, I think that this could be really awesome and inspiring for young girls, for you to share this story. But I want you to 100% know that I'm doing it because I had seen what had happened with the interview with in Tampa, was it Tampa or Florida?
No, it was some. I don't know, one of those.
And then you were like, fuck all of Florida. And I was like, hey.
Wait, where in Florida did you live?
Tampa Bay.
Oh, God.
It was like me and just a bunch of old people.
Oh.
Hey, man, we got the Rays. Solid times.
Yeah. No, that was that was the point where my manager was like, you look like a crazy bitch. You need to say something. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about any of this. Like, I think I was more protective of I didn't want to be vulnerable because I felt like being vulnerable would open myself up to be a bigger target for people who already give me shit.
Well, it's not like that's completely misplaced. Like you put out this in generally well-received podcast where you talked about your past. But of course, I mean, I saw some of the responses from people in the industry that felt like you were misrepresenting or, had issues with it. But of course, there's still the people there that were using it to discount you, to minimize anything that you did. And so I think for me, that was one of the most interesting things, because no matter your level of success, right? Because if you look at like your Instagram numbers, you look at anything that as far as like notoriety and ability to not necessarily move product, but right, to just sell. No, but to like the engagement on your post, right? So it's not like this fake thing that we see on some large people. And then yet it's still 5 years after affecting you. I felt like that was this interesting story. And so I was really, even though it wasn't on ours, and we didn't get that viral post,
No.
I was still so glad to see it. It was great.
Thank you.
So part of me kind of knowing a bit of your story is I've talked about you in the news a little, and there are kind of two things that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
One, why were you why did you share so many athletes sliding into your DMs? That was always
because
a
they
thing.
are entitled little pricks who need to be put in their place.
So that's your reason.
Yes, exactly.
Because I feel like one of the big criticisms was like,
I'm doing it for attention.
You were doing it to be like, look who's trying to come at me.
Oh, no. I was doing it like, look at this motherfucker who thinks that he can get any girl he wants just by saying, I'm in Miami, come to my hotel room because I'm a football player. Like, go fuck yourself. You can't talk to women like that.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is probably they like outside of you and several others, I'm sure people take the opportunity.
No, of course.
Right.
But also, like, they need to be put in their place. And most of these men who are doing it have girlfriends.
Yeah. Well, see, that seems like a reason to to potentially do something. But okay, who's I'm trying to remember who is kind of the
He stopped me from I'm pointing at my manager. He stopped me from doing it too.
Oh,
he's like, you can't do that anymore. I'm like, but this one's so good.
Well, especially so was that kind of around just in general, or around the time that you were like, yes,
no, this is recently.
I'm gonna be who was the last person that you did this on?
Can we cut this out?
Oh, okay. I mean, yes, we'll figure it out in post. Oh no.
I rejected this shit out of him, and he goes, oh damn it, be like that. And I was like, it's a cold, cold world.
It seems like maybe you dodged a bullet.
Right?
Even just one, not even. Oh wow.
Yep. Like, her profile photo was with her fiance, but I'm gonna still shoot my shot.
Well, I'm sure guys like that, they don't even see that as like a speed
No, they
bump.
feed off of it. I think
I
think
bet.
they feed off of the
Yeah, I mean, if you're an athlete, you're like, I'm the best at this.
Yes.
I can take what I bet.
The egos are unmatched, and sometimes men need a fucking ego check, and that's why I do it.
And you're like, I'm going to do it in front of 10 million people and possibly even greater, since this is going to get press coverage. It's going to be on Barstool. It's
I never once thought that it was interesting enough for press coverage. That was never my intention. My intention was just to make them look stupid, because they are. Like, how can you walk around with this sense of entitlement, you fat fuck?
Because people give it to them.
Exactly. But like, you're an offensive lineman. Go sit in your seat.
I feel like I can get your frustration, but if everyone in the world is like, yes, you can walk this path, all right, no one's stopped you, or they've gone, I'm just going to let you walk by me. Like, I feel like, sure, we can criticize that person, but we should probably also talk about what are we saying as a society that someone's like, you're famous, I don't know fucking anything about you, take me.
Yeah, the way that they do it too is literally just like, sup. Oh, I see your location is in Miami. I'm at the Fontainebleau. Come through. Like, what? What woman in their right mind just comes through?
Probably plenty. I feel
Do you not fear for your lives? Like, I went to go meet my future fiance.
Sure.
Like, the man that I knew I had very strong feelings for, that took me 6 months to build up to like go and actually meet him because we met online. I flew to Copenhagen and I turned my location services on for every single friend that I have, updated them on where I was, just all of that stuff, because I was terrified I was going to get murdered and thrown into a fucking river.
I've just always kind of assumed that like these athletes and larger people treat Instagram like a menu. That's always kind of just been.
That's a good way to. That's completely true.
Yeah.
And also, rejection builds character. They need to experience it once in a while.
You got to humble them.
Yeah.
That's great. But I did when you would sometimes reject, maybe not publicly, because I imagine you didn't do this with every single person. Did they kind of just keep going along and then?
One guy did. One guy still tried after I blasted him. And I was like,
really? After the fact?
What are you doing? It was the guy who played for, who did he play for? They played against Florida State and we beat them. And I was like, yo, instead of being in my DMs, shouldn't you have been in your playbook? Right. Maybe then the game outcome would have been different.
I remember this viral post.
Yeah, because I blasted him the first time and he still came back.
I don't even know what that life is. I love like half of the reason that I love having people on, I'm like, what the fuck is even like, what is that? Like for one of the people that you mentioned off camera, like their social media person mentioned them for a potential collab, but then seeing that person and then being like, and then they're saying the things that you said off camera. I'm like, wow, that's so wild. That's so wild. So something that to completely shift gears back, something you've talked about regarding kind of the regret of the past, having done that, is that it has affected now, even with your popularity, opportunities you have now.
Yeah.
What companies can we shame that will not work with Mia Khalifa?
HelloFresh. Casper mattresses.
Oh shit! All our sponsors. Okay, keep
shit,
going. No,
really?
keep going. Keep going.
Who else, Jeff? Come on, help me out.
The shorter list would be who we at.
Manscaped. Yeah, this fucking men's pubic grooming company was like, you're too controversial. I'm like, you're selling pubic razors. I own your demographic. I have them in my hand. Give me your money.
But they say that you're too controversial.
Yeah.
Wow.
They don't like my Googleability.
Googleability.
That's not the right word, is it?
We're gonna roll with it.
Now.
Wait. Okay. Actually, then a question regarding sponsorships, because this kind of popped in my head because I think we covered this about a year ago. Do you still do sponsorships? And it feels kind of like a more recent story too. Do you still do sponsorships around Juul cartridges?
No.
Okay.
Well, not Juul.
No, not Juul, but there was like a brand that was compatible.
I'm not going to name them because they are not still paying me, but this other company bought ad space on my Snapchat. That's also a vape company.
So are you still, what are your thoughts around promoting stuff like that?
So for me personally, I am addicted to my Juul.
Oh, okay.
I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day.
Okay. Are you saying this in a positive or a negative way?
No, it's a terrible thing.
Okay.
I've tried so hard to quit.
Okay.
I think the longest I went without any form of nicotine was like 3 months. Mm-hmm. But it's just been like a lifelong struggle for me. Okay. It's my own. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed often. Maybe like once or twice a week. But my biggest vice is nicotine, and it's been a huge struggle for me.
So like if you sitting with me right now, are you thinking about it?
It's in my purse right now, and I can like see it through X-ray vision.
You're like there. You just see this like just pulse on your head.
No, like my gums start to itch.
So what do you think about then kind of the concerns and criticisms around kind of that it's advertising to younger people?
I do not think that young kids should be doing it. I know my age range. I know my demographic, and it's 19 to 33. So I don't feel too guilty. I think that my 13 to 17 range is so minimal. It's like 1 or 2%. So I don't feel that guilty doing it. Like you have a much more family friendly, No. Am I wrong?
No. We probably have like the same demo.
Probably.
18 to 35-year-old men.
Men, yeah.
Got it. They're going to be like, yes, the two people we watch. It's going to be great.
But the things that I do feel guilty about pushing is, which I do not do, is like the flat tummy teas and the things like that. or because I know that I do have a growing female following.
Sure.
And from messages that I've received and from women who have come up to me who tell me that they look up to me and that they really appreciate the fact that I don't wear makeup most of the time and that I'm not afraid to show my flaws, like that sticks with me. And that makes me think, I don't want to be promoting these things that are detrimental to their mental health, because the reason I went into porn is because I had such low self-esteem. And I don't want these women to be on Instagram and just see another girl with millions of followers who's always primed and perfect and, you know, with a flat stomach. So I go out of my way to show people, this is what I looked like before my meal and this is what I look like after. Like, that's life. That's normal. You got to love yourself no matter what you look like. And you don't need to be drinking laxatives to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad. Yeah, so you're going to continue. I think regarding the flat tummy, I think that makes sense, like 1,000%. But for Jewel, is it still, you just think that it's okay because it's still a better alternative for adults?
I think it's up to you. I have read that most of the hospitalizations that have happened have been not so much around nicotine vapes.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're talking about that. I think that's a really interesting situation. And I think that the reaction has been very weird that you can talk about a few hundred people having an adverse reaction.
Yeah, and most of them have been over 60 or under 17, and they haven't been smoking the nicotine vapes. They've been smoking this off-brand, non-FDA approved weed one.
Sure, yeah. I mean, a lot of people have talked about like kind of the black market, the third party stuff. But I just mean like that addiction in general. Like I've tried a lot of stuff. Oddly, cigarettes are not one, because I grew up with two parents that smoked, and just you hear that coughing and it just is in your head forever. Did your parents smoke?
No one in my family smokes. I picked it up in military school.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I started with chewing tobacco because that's what everyone did.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I know, it's disgusting.
The worst worst thing, way you could integrate.
Oh, it was so gross. Loose tobacco too. It was like loose dip. Oh my God, I was disgusting.
Wow.
But I started with that, and that's how my nicotine addiction developed.
Right. Oh.
Is this a desk? Can you see through it? Because I'm doing weird things with my toes.
No. There's like a whole...
Sorry.
I love that. Wait, 50 minutes in, you're like, wait a second.
It just clicked.
Oh, like, wait a shit. What are you doing with your toes?
I'm just like doing this with them because I'm nervous. And it like...
You're nervous?
Instead of doing this, I'm doing this with them.
How do you get nervous at this point?
Oh, I'm always nervous. I hate talking about myself. I have more fun on podcasts that have nothing to do with me. This terrifies me.
You know, I get that. No, I get that. If I ever go on a podcast and it's like, oh, it's going to be about me.
Yeah.
I feel like after 10 plus years of this, I treat it like I'm being interviewed, or someone's trying to get me for a crime. And I'm like, yes.
I will
Yes,
give you
Joe.
this, though. You are asking some really great questions, because every other podcast that I've done that's been, you know, in regards to my past and my present and future has been just a regurgitation of the same questions. All of the interviews have been the same, but this one's been very... It's flowed great.
I will
you have
take
great
your compliment.
questions.
Also, yeah, I think it's rude that you said the Hey Bitch podcast is the worst podcast in the world. Nikki Limo is a personal friend. I can't believe you said that. No. You're
gonna get me in so much trouble. They're coming over for dinner next week.
No, they seem amazing.
They are.
I sent her Nikki a text this morning. I was like, this is because I wanted to listen to make sure that I wasn't just kind of regurgitating or we could expand on. And I was like, this is really good. Like, what's another one that I can listen to? Because they really flow together.
Yes.
And
they made it so much fun.
Yeah.
Way more fun than Philip DeFranco.
Way more fun. Accurate. I also have the same fear regarding entering any group of, for me, it's men who have no idea, though, specifically of what I do.
Yeah.
Like people with regular jobs.
Oh my God.
I'm immediately a 16-year-old boy again. I'm like, so I do stuff on the internet. And they're like, really? I do financing. And then I'm like, oh, God.
I hate it when real humans ask me what I do for a living, because I either say I'm a social media influencer and then I look like some dumb bitch who lives in LA to do this, or like I'd say, well, you know, I'm working smart.
I'm working sports? Is that what the fuck voice was that?
That's my I'm around a group of humans voice, and I am very intimidated by all of you.
Ooh, what's the number one question you get from people that are unfamiliar with you? When like, if it's like what do you do? Like what's the next question?
Oh, so cool. Are you on ESPN? And then I have to say no, because they're owned by Disney and Disney would never hire me.
Okay, because yeah, it was gonna be for me. It was like, so how do you make money on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck
Like, you don't know how famous I am, bro.
No, it's just like I'm like, it's been a thing for 10 plus years. Like, you shouldn't just be finding out about it. You're 35. Like, what do you do? But that's also, there's this, I have extended family back home that are like kind of the private Facebook or private Instagram or barely access the internet. I'm like, what is your life?
Yeah.
That's like, that feels like at this point, it's like almost Amish.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
But I'm also, I went through this whole period where I just essentially threw away my phone, felt so at peace. Then I realized it's horrible for business.
Yeah.
And now I'm back. Like, I think yesterday, like, my activity's at 7 hours. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing on
Mine's
this?
at a steady 5, and I'm very proud of that.
You should be. That's because because for you, do you have to kind of when you go on the internet, what do you do? Like, is it all, I'm going to put this out there, or like,
no,
is it all about
it's
being proactive?
honestly, my biggest issue is the fact that I forget that 18 million people follow me. And I will put up videos of my husband looking like shit in the morning or doing the stupidest thing. And then he looks at me and he's like, do you know how many people just saw that? Can you please take it down? And I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, wait.
I'm so sorry.
Well, because wait. How many people, like, if you post something on your story, how many people see that?
Around 1 million till, depending on the day, like 1.4, 1.5.
That's wild, especially considering the whole medium's kind of just like, this is kind of throwaway content.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
This is just a little glimpse, and then 1 million people. That's like, wow. I don't even know what that is. That's wild.
It's crazy, and it's it makes me. I haven't so much felt it, like the sense of responsibility, because I still post my daily me looking like shit, me when I just wake up.
I will say I'm surprised by that, just because if I had kind of a similar conversation with Casey Neistat. If I say some stupid shit, it might roll. But if you do almost anything and it's a slight call out, there are blogs about it in like 45 minutes. I
posted this one picture when I went to the Mojave Desert to look at this airplane graveyard. And in the caption, I said, the bottom feeding no-name blog is probably going to take this photo and say that I stormed Area 51 to free my alien. And the next day, there was 3 articles from 3 different sites saying, Mia Khalifa goes to Area 51. What?
I mean, at that point, was it just them doing it for the meme?
No, they were completely serious.
That's crazy.
And I tagged the Mojave Desert as my location.
So, a question, because I know that we talked about sponsorships. You're also now developing apps, or you're working with companies that are creating apps?
I'm
now?
working in partnership with them. I have some creative input. I have 2 right now. One is called Fire Dates, which is a plugin for Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge that swipes for you even when you're not on the app. And then the other one,
I like, you know what we need to do with online dating? Make it even less effort.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing?
And so you wake up from, your drunken stupor and you have all these matches. And then the other one is called UREF. And this one's cool because I would actually use this one. I mean, Fire Dates is great. Download it.
Wow. I love that. I want the people that use Fire Dates to literally only meet other people that use Fire Dates, so that people that are just putting in as little effort as possible can be in a relationship together.
That's called a soulmate.
Exactly.
And that's what we're doing for you.
But wait, what's the other one?
The other one is called UREF, and it's one that I actually use. We gathered all of this never before, discovered data about referees. And first we started with Premier League soccer, and now we're expanding into NBA. But it's all this data about the likelihood of a red or a yellow card, depending on which ref is officiating the game against your team. So it really helps with people who are into betting or people who just want more of a reason to defend their team for losing.
Just be like, well,
it was the ref. Look at the statistics.
Oh my God. Yeah. I could see that being beneficial. I've only even been slightly aware of this world because of fantasy football, just like all the spreadsheets shit.
So that's what I love about fantasy. It makes me interested in games that I otherwise wouldn't give a shit about.
Yes.
Because normally I really only care about my team and the team that I'm playing next week.
Yeah, 1,000%. But yeah, and so it gives me a reason to have Red Zone on.
Yeah.
And just be a lazy piece of shit on Sunday.
I love it.
And then kind of just have something on in the background on Thursdays and Mondays. That's about it.
Yeah.
Hey, very quickly, if you made it to this part of the podcast, make sure that you're following, subscribing. Also, if you want to be one of the first people to actually listen to it, we release the audio version on DeFrancoElite.com, usually 12 hours before, really as just early as possible. But with that said, just a quick little self-plug if you want to support the show in that way, because we don't have sponsors yet, but whatever. That said, keep enjoying.
Do you want to come back with, speaking of spreadsheets? But then it's your idea, but...
Yeah, they did a presentation at Instagram HQ for all of their employees, and they used my photo as the example of things that they need to shadow ban.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, why? Wait, okay. I've only ever seen people kind of randomly talk about it, and like every now and then someone will say like a very vague like, yo, fuck Instagram.
Yeah.
What?
Someone who doesn't follow me, search my name on Instagram and see how long you have to scroll until you actually find me, even though I'm verified and you've typed in Mia Khalifa in full.
Would you be offended if none of them followed you?
No, not at all.
Luke's
not
like,
at all.
I got you. I'm like, wait, let's see. He's typing. You can't find her? What the fuck? That's...
Yep.
What? That's insane.
Yeah. The verified account with almost 18 million followers and all of these accounts that, post actual porn are so far ahead of me.
So is this a thing from them that they're like, well, we don't want the story that is we banned Mia Khalifa, but we're not gonna promote her. Like, what is
Tiffany from Hey Bitch posted a photo of I'm wearing a sweater up to here. She's wearing something extremely appropriate. We were on the set of Hey Bitch podcast. We took a photo and she said, so excited to have Mia Khalifa on this week's episode. She's great. She's awesome. Link in bio to listen to her. 8 days later, Instagram took it down. And she posted a screenshot of that. Like, what the fuck? I've never had a picture be taken down. Like, is it just because she's tagged in it? So this video is demonetized, by the way.
Oh, this is fine. That's fine. I was like, we don't have a sponsor. I literally just do this for fun.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. But wait, so what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Just because you were tagged.
I was in the picture with her.
And this is like a consistent thing.
It's pretty common.
Okay.
It's so common that I wasn't surprised. I just kind of rolled my eyes when I saw it because that's just how Instagram works.
When
now.
you say that you were used as this example,
yeah,
is that like you were told by an employee there?
No.
Or?
This was someone took a picture from the presentation inside Instagram HQ.
Is this public?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I'll check out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They used one of my Instagram photos.
Did they?
And it was this Instagram photo that I posted a side by side of where I said, this is color correction and this is without color correction because I don't want you females out there who are looking at this to think that stretch marks and all of this and perfect skin don't exist. This is what it looks like when I want to print a poster, and this is what it looks like normally. So I don't want you to feel like you always have to look this like it was an empowering post.
Sure.
And that's what they used as like things you need to shadow ban.
What the and is there any reasoning that was also photographed or included in this as far as like why you were a thing that should be shadow banned? Was it just because you showed like part of your body?
Yeah, I was in what was I in? I think I was just in like lingerie, but there's girls on Instagram who are wearing those like thong bikinis that
well, it definitely feels like everything is not administered at the same level, and I think that there's
I think that Instagram
that
cracks down on me extra hard. And we can use Tiffany as the example. Like it was a very wholesome photo with a wholesome caption on a wholesome page. Like she Disney is one of her sponsors.
Are you cracked down on anywhere else? When you said like this video is demonetized, is it literally because your name?
My YouTube channel. Every single one of my videos is demonetized. I did one where
didn't you just like post some travel vlogs? Like there's nothing.
Well, on me and my fiance's channel, it's mostly our travel vlogs. But
okay.
On my personal channel, it's things like me going to the dermatologist or me getting Botox in my armpits because I excessively sweat and I'm disgusting.
It's okay. It's okay.
Or, wholesome things like me and my manager, Jeff, working out together, looking like absolute idiots because neither of us has any form whatsoever. So it's mostly wholesome content. I mean, there is things like, here's a try on video and one of them's like a sexy dress, but it's for the most part, normal content.
It feels like it's gotten, well, especially on YouTube, a lot harsher and at times random.
Yeah.
But like
even the teasers for my big interview that I did that was the catalyst to you wanting to do this with me. That
Sure.
all of those are my entire channel is just like red flagged.
So aside from these apps, then what on your shadow banned, demonetized life? What's next for you?
Lunch, probably.
Do you? I think that's something you said. You don't really think like 3-5 years out.
No, I don't.
Why
I think because I'm really happy with where I am. I like where this is going. I like where this path is taking me, and I'm kind of just along for the ride for the most part. Of course I have goals, and of course I want to accomplish them, but my goals have more to do with myself personally and less with my career. I like that I don't like it's kind of taken me for a ride. I'm not the one so much in control, and when I stop trying to control it is when all of the best things have come.
So wait, when you say that you're on this path now, where do you think that path is taking you? Because
Well, I'm under NDAs for a lot of things that haven't. I'm reading a book.
Oh wow, what's
Yeah.
that going to be about?
My life.
Oh, that's awesome.
But a lot more in depth, and not that I'm not giving you, the full scoop. Or anything.
It's fine. There was that very long list of things we shouldn't talk about. It was horrible. I've never someone just the moment I got here. No.
Yeah, I'm writing a book, and there's other projects up in the air that that I can't talk about yet.
How about this? Is it more in the realm of empowering girls, or is it more in the realm of sports?
No, it's definitely more in the realm of trying to take my mistake and help other women.
Because it feels like that's a part of your passion. Like there's obviously the apps and those kind of fit into a certain place. But everything I've seen from you, it really feels like it is for this kind of, you're very young, but like the next generation, right? Because there's constantly a new one.
I really haven't been passionate about much in my life until I started talking about this and seeing the response from women who can relate to me, who have nothing to do with the porn industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like just women who are feeling this way about themselves and about the way that they let other men in their life treat them, who said that my story helped them realize that the choices they're making aren't right, and that, the feelings they're feeling are fine and normal. And, there's things that you can do to fix that instead of, just kowtowing to men who show you attention. I never really felt like a spark until that started happening. Like sports is fun. It's so much fun. I love it. It's my hobby, but the passion is mostly just for like my DC teams.
Sure.
I love talking about it. I can talk about hockey all day long. It's so much fun for me, but it's definitely not the same as since I've been experiencing this.
Do you, when you go to hockey games now, are you extra nervous after like your accident? How long ago was that? Was that a year?
This was playoffs 2 years ago.
You got hit by a puck?
I got hit by a puck. I had to have surgery to fix my broken titty.
I feel like that.
But I got to keep the puck.
I love that you're like, but I got a souvenir from my breast trauma. It's really great. They signed it and everything. Did they sign it?
No,
Oh,
it's fine. I have other signed things from Ovechkin. It's fine. It's fine. Next time I get like a face-to-face meeting with him, though, I'm going to bring that and have him sign it.
What are the fucking odds of that? That's the craziest thing in the world.
Dude, especially like me, of all people.
Exactly. It
was the happiest day of my life.
I was like, it feels like it might have been purposeful.
It was incredible. Like, I flew to DC just for that game. I was flying to Copenhagen 2 days later, and I flew to DC just for that game. I was there for 22 hours.
And then it all came together for that one pivotal moment.
It was incredible. It was seriously like one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. I mean, it hurt like a motherfucker, but it was fantastic.
I cannot imagine. Wait, so kind of on the note of talking about these kind of younger girls, what's a piece of advice outside of, because one thing I really appreciated from you was, and something I think it's not just young women, just everyone in general, you need to kind of know who you are by yourself and love yourself. What's something that you would say would be beneficial for a younger person to consider?
Talk to people. And if you can't afford therapy, there are so many outlets online that offer free counseling and people to talk to where your privacy is hidden and everything that you talk about is protected. So talk to as many people as you can. Sometimes it can be hard to talk to people out of fear of them judging you. So go online, utilize these resources that are available at your fingertips.
I love that. Is there when you say that kind of the talking to friends, do you ever get nervous? Because it feels like we're living more and more in a society where everyone's like, it's not even a conversation anymore. It's like receipts. Like, do you feel like, have you ever had like a moment where someone's like, this is what Mia said behind the scene? Have you just not had to deal with like that issue?
I mean, of course, like every girl experiences this when you're in a group chat and then someone.
But not to like a national scale, right? It's just been like.
It was public, but I owned it because it was in a public tweet.
Oh.
I think it was it at Christian McCaffrey? I tweeted at him like, "Oh my God, you're amazing," and he was like, "I'm married, thanks." And I was like, "You got to shoot your shot. You win some, you lose some."
I don't.
But it was in a public tweet, so I wasn't sliding into his DMs or anything.
It's gonna be so interesting to see if he can survive this season.
He's the sober Johnny Manziel.
Right?
Really? Yeah.
I don't know much about him as a person. I just always, anytime I kind of do a quick glance, it's like McCaffrey, 250 yards, rest of team, 100. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck? They need him that much? Okay. Shit.
He's literally he is everything that Johnny Manziel wishes he could be.
Wait, so being on the other end of that, because we were talking about it earlier, did it build character?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. I love it when people clap back at me.
Oh, really?
Like, I dish it out more than anyone else, so I gotta take
that's
it.
Healthy. That's healthy. Yeah, because I know a lot of people that are just like they hit and then
like
once
I
they
said,
get
rejection
hit,
builds character.
Maybe that's the note. So 1, love yourself, get to learn who you are as a person. 2, talk to people, and 3, get rejected.
Get rejected and then stunt on them.
That's the note we're ending on. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. This was awesome.
See, nice and easy.
Baker Mayfield. He's the one who kept sliding in my DMs after I blasted him.
Oh, was it McCaffrey? Oh.
Who was the guy who kept sliding in my DMs? He played for Ole Miss. Huh?
I fucking love that there's this amount of confusion.
He played for Ole Miss. Yeah. Chad Kelly.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ.